The UN's Under-Secretary General for Humanitarian Affairs Martin Griffiths has raised alarm over the dire humanitarian situation in Gaza, warning that the blockade on aid could lead to famine. He stated that the scarcity of fuel hampers aid distribution, pushing Gaza towards an imminent famine. Griffiths highlighted that around 58 trucks could potentially reach northern Gaza daily through the reopened Beth Hanoun crossing. However, conflicts near the Rafah and Karim Abu Salem crossings have rendered these crucial routes nearly impossible. In related news, videos verified by Al Jazeera Sanad news agency show Israeli settlers in the occupied West Bank attacking aid trucks en route to Gaza near the town of Tarkumia. The footage revealed destroyed boxes of food and surrounded trucks. The aid sent from Jordan passes through the West Bank before reaching Gaza. Gaza's civil defense reports that Israeli forces have demolished 300 homes in Jabalia in northern Gaza since the start of their operations this month. The government media office in Gaza states that 3,000 aid trucks have been blocked from entering Gaza over the past 2 weeks. Further compounding the crisis, Kamal Adwan Hospital in Beit Lahia has received around 60 bodies, mostly women and children, following Israeli airstrikes on a crowded residential area in Jabalia, as reported by its director to Al Jazeera Arabic. The Israeli military has announced the killing of Azmi Abu Daka, allegedly involved in supplying weapons and funds to Palestinian groups. He was reportedly killed in a joint operation by the Israeli Air Force and intelligence. The military also claimed to have targeted numerous Hamas sites, including commanders preparing attacks in Rafah. The health ministry in Gaza reports that since October 7, Israeli attacks have resulted in 35,456 Palestinian deaths and 79,476 injuries. The latest figures indicate 70 killed and 110 injured in the last 24 hours. On the diplomatic front, White House National Security Advisor Jake Sullivan has arrived in Israel for talks with Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu. Deputy Prime Minister Ishaq Dar has announced the arrangement of 3 special commercial flights to bring back 540 Pakistani students from Kyrgyzstan.
اور کل جو کچھ اسٹوڈنٹس کمرشل فلائٹوں کے ذریعے قریباً 130 پاکستان پہنچ چکے ہیں، تو ان کے لیے آج جو 3 کمرشل فلائٹس اسپیشل فلائٹس کا ارینجمنٹ ہے، اس کے ذریعے قریباً 540 اسٹوڈنٹ جو ہیں وہ آ سکیں گے مزید، اور یہ نمبر جو ہے وہ یعنی 670 کا ہو جائے گا، 130 کل، 540 3 فلائٹس میں۔ ایک ہم نے آج ایئر فورس سے بات کر کے صبح سے تو اپنا ان کی ایک فلائٹ آج جائے گی، وہ ابھی تیاری میں ہے، اور وہ ایئر بس ایئر فورس لے کے جائے گی، اور اس میں جو کیپیسٹی ہے قریباً 130 اسٹوڈنٹس کی ہے، اس کے لیے ایمبیسی نے اطلاع کر دی ہے پاکستانی اسٹوڈنٹس کو جو اور جانا چاہیں۔ 540 تو بک ہو چکے ہیں کمرشل فلائٹس پہ، تو ابھی تک ہمیں قریباً 50 کے قریب اسٹوڈنٹس نے وہاں ایمبیسی میں وہاں اپنا انٹری کروائی ہے اور بتایا کہ جی ہم اس ایئر فورس کی فلائٹ پہ جانا چاہتے ہیں۔
This decision comes after over 100 students arrived in Lahore following mob violence in Bishkek, where 5 Pakistani students were injured. Kyrgyz police took action to control the violence after hundreds of Kyrgyz men attacked buildings housing foreign students, including Pakistanis, following a brawl with Egyptian nationals on May 13th. The situation de-escalated after an agreement was reached between the police and the rioters, as reported by a Kyrgyz media outlet. Pakistan has summoned Kyrgyz envoy Melis Moldaliv, urging protection for the students and advising them to remain indoors until the situation improves. Prime Minister Shehbaz Sharif had planned a visit to Bishkek through Deputy Prime Minister Ishaq Dar and Kashmir Affairs Minister Amir Muqam, but the trip did not materialize as scheduled. Meanwhile, vote counting is underway following the by-election in Multan's NA 148 constituency. The seat became vacant after PPP's Yusuf Raza Gilani, recently elected Senate chairman, resigned. In the general elections on February 8, Gilani won narrowly by 293 votes. The main contenders in this by-election are Ali Qasim Gilani, son of the former PM, and PTI-supported barrister Taimur Malik. PMLN, instead of fielding its candidate, has thrown its support behind the PPP candidate. The polling, which commenced at 8 a.m. and ended at 5 p.m., took place across 275 polling stations under tight security, including 72 stations for women, 72 for men, and 121 combined stations. A total of 8 candidates are contesting in these elections. In the Middle East, a helicopter carrying Iranian President Ibrahim Raisi has suffered a hard landing, reported state television. The incident occurred near Jolfa in Iran's East Azerbaijan province. Search operations are ongoing but hindered by poor weather conditions. State-linked media said 3 helicopters were in the president's convoy, with the other 2 returning safely. Foreign Minister Hussein Amir Abdullahian and other officials were on board with Raisi. People inside the helicopter managed to make an emergency call, raising hopes for no fatalities. The cause of the hard landing is unclear, and it's uncertain if anyone was injured. Rescue teams are facing challenges reaching the site due to fog and bad weather. The helicopter is believed to have crashed in a forested area, but there is no confirmation on the type of helicopter involved. Meanwhile, Saudi Arabia's King Salman is undergoing his second round of medical tests this month due to a high temperature and joint pain. The 88-year-old king has been on the throne since 2015, with Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman managing daily affairs since 2017. King Salman's health updates have been managed by the royal court, with his last significant hospital stay in May 2022. Under Crown Prince Mohammed's leadership, Saudi Arabia has seen significant social and economic reforms alongside a crackdown on dissent. That concludes today's news update. Stay tuned for further developments.